A better day for the offense showcase why CJ Stroud and Stefon Diggs might become the best 1-2 punch in the NFL.
Let's get it.
You are Locked On Texans, your daily podcast on the Houston Texans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Locked On Texans listeners and viewers, to this Wednesday episode of the Locked On Texans podcast, a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we are back every day with it. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On NFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. I'm your Texans football analyst, John, some sports guy Hickman. On the other side of the screen, Texans credentialed media member, T. Davis. We are diving into a better day for the offense. Jalen Pitre finding a more versatile role. Season tickets are sold out. I think it's going to be a great year for the fans. With that being said, they showed up early Tuesday.
Some of them at 4 a.m.
in the morning.
Wow.
And with this recent weather, guys, that's kind of crazy, but you can't have fans without the fanatics. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to my boy Zay Q Dog. He got out there early today to see the Texans practice fan day. And overall, Cody, stop me if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have some interesting takeaways from Tuesday practice.
Yes, sir. Tuesday practice, day 5, first day of pass. And look, I truly believe that the Houston Texans offense got tired of everyone talking about how good and how great the defense looked. Yesterday was literally a day for the offense from the first team, the second team, and the third team. All three quarterbacks looked good when they stepped out there on the field. And John, to understand how good the offense looked, I was actually surprised that the Houston Texans offense put on the show like the way they did during their 11-on-11 team scrimmages, because first and foremost, you got to keep in mind that the offense was shorthanded, especially their first team. Joe Mixon was not in attendance for the second consecutive day. Nico Collins and John Mechie missed their first day of Houston Texans training camp. Don't get alarmed, because once again, D'Amico Ryans reiterated the fact that everybody is going to be like on a low managed schedule, especially when you consider that the Houston Texans did open their training camp a little bit earlier than several teams around the league. But even though the first team was shorthanded on yesterday, John, everybody put on the show. Xavier Hutchinson stepped up. Dalton Schultz, who missed Monday's practice, returned Tuesday. He put on the show. Dameon Pierce, for the second consecutive day, is looking like the player that we all fell in love with during the 2022 campaign. I'm liking what I'm seeing for Dameon Pierce, and if I'm raving about Dameon Pierce, I'm telling you guys, that offensive line, especially the interior, is going to do wonders for the Houston Texans rushing attack. I'm starting to come around of Juice Scruggs playing center, but I love the fact that both Kenyon Green and Shaq Mason are giving the Houston Texans something to utilize in the rushing attack. John, you know, that's something I've been talking about a lot during training camp, but I said I wanted to kind of reserve my thoughts for when they put on pass. They put on the pass, and that offensive line definitely continued to look good, the interior at least. But John, when you talk about the Houston Texans offense, regardless of who's taking the field, I am starting to believe that the combination of CJ Stroud and Stefon Diggs will end up being the best 1-2 punch in the league.
I do want to say this first and foremost. I apologize. Thank you to all of our first-time listeners and viewers. Do us 3 favors. Very simple. Subscribe, like, and comment to the Locked On Texans podcast on YouTube, wherever you listen to our podcast. And shout out to all of our everydayers coming back inside of Texans Training Camp. That's what these 8 eyes, 4 between Cody, 4, and I have 4 eyes. Only got 2 right now, but that's what we're bringing you guys inside of Texans Training Camp to – to highlight why Cody is excited about Stefon Diggs and CJ Stroud to highlight how impactful Diggs has been first year with star quarterbacks in 2018, career high 102 catches. 2020, when the Buffalo Bills traded for him, 127 catches, over 1,500 yards. Now we're looking at 2024, CJ Stroud. This duo, at least through 5 days, guys, this duo has connected like they've played with each other their whole NFL careers. And you really see, and this is coming from Diggs, as soon as he got traded, working out with Houston, CJ Stroud doing a very good job of team bonding, especially with the receiver group. You really see the connection and how it benefits Stefon Diggs, who is technically in a career year, a contract year.
Mm-hmm.
CJ Stroud, who is anticipated to have a monster sophomore year, which we've seen from sophomore quarterbacks in the past, but how everybody else in that receiver room is going to eat. But the duo between CJ and Diggs, guys, it can potentially be very scary for the NFL.
Really, just how hard he works, man. You know, he's somebody who, loves the game and doesn't cheat it. You know, and that's why he's been successful. And I think he'll continue that success. I'm blessed enough to hopefully be a part of that. And that's some things that just stick out for me. Just how personable he is, how relatable he is. He's really friendly and very vocal. So it's really nice to have him around.
Work in progress. I'm not going to say everything is perfect, but you see us kind of getting on the same page here and there. And, nothing's going to be perfect. I starve for it, we grind for it, but getting on the same page, play after play, and that communication, that open line of communication, I feel like that's going to really separate it, seeing that we have such a small period of time. But this isn't my first rodeo, and I'm not by no means, can I get that towel? I'm by no means reinventing the wheel. This is the same football we've been playing since we were 5, and 7 is special. I think everybody kind of knows that. I must reiterate it, though, because I see it firsthand, you know what I'm saying, and taking it play after play and building. So it's a work in progress, just to answer your question.
And even with that duo flourishing like we believe it will, again, I do want to circle back to what Stefon Diggs can just open up for the rest of the receiver room. We talked about, I just mentioned the 2018 career catches, playing with Kirk Cousins for the first year after going from Case Keenum the year before. Adam Thielen was on that team. I think Adam Thielen had roughly around 1,300 yards. At this stage in his career, and we can even look at the 2020 Buffalo Bills where, that was a career year for Stefon Diggs, 1,500 yards. The next best receiver, Cole Beasley, a slot receiver, 967, 12 yards per catch, 4 TDs. If I look at Adam Thielen in the Minnesota days, who do I think is a better target right now in his career, Nico or Adam Thielen? Now, Thielen was a dog. Thielen is a dog in his career. But right now, I'm going with Nico. 2020 Buffalo Bills. Cole Beasley, great year for Cole Beasley. One of those years in Buffalo, he was an all-pro receiver. But talent-wise, who am I taking? Tank Dell. So you look at Stefon being able to somewhat open doors for talented receivers to have more of those favorable matchups. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. And if we get a chance and opportunity to talk to John Metchie, one of the questions I want to ask him is just, what is something that you believe you bring that no other receiver in this group brings? And how do you believe the rest of the receivers can help you bring that out? Because you got the leadership from Stefon, the experience from Stefon, the connection growing between Stefon and CJ. And I'm just thinking about, how can Nico, how can Tank, how can Metchie, how can Schultz, how can the rest of these guys just feast off one another? But on the opposite side of the break, we talk about the duo that could potentially take over the league. We got to talk about a defensive player in Jalen Pitre that is looking to redeem himself and how he possibly can as somewhat as a tweener, as NBA terms, in a more versatile role. So don't go anywhere. We got more Locked On Texans on the other side of the break. Texans fans, it's time to turn up. Listen, guys, the season tickets have been sold out, but don't fret. You can definitely still catch some of these Texan games live and in person, buying tickets through the Game Time app. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace for the NFL, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down closer to the kickoff of games. You can even catch Astros tickets on there, right? Major League Baseball is popping right now. Prices go down closer to the first pitch with killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NFL, MLB, and NBA tickets. They also have comedy events, concerts, and much more. Theater events, if you're into theater, all up to 60% off. They all got it. They got it all on the app, excuse me. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On NFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code Locked On LOCKED NFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to this Wednesday installment of Locked On Texans as we continue to highlight and talk about the first 5 days of Houston Texans training camp. John, even though the offense did have their way with the defense on Tuesday, man, once again, you cannot overshadow how good that defense looked during Friday's practice and Monday's practice, Friday, Saturday, and Monday practice, if we're being 100. But one of the reasons why the defense has looked really, really good is due to the work of the secondary. We came on this show over the last 2 days talking about Kamari Lassiter, how good he has looked. I've already said it. He is by far, in my opinion, the second best cornerback as of right now. You already know what to expect out of Derek Stingley Jr. However, I know that I had some concerns about the safety unit. I understand that the safety unit at times made me say, man, I do believe with the $18.5 million that the Houston Texans still have, they definitely need to make sure they invest in that defensive backfield. And even though I still feel that way a little bit, I will say Kellen Bullock has made me change my mind just a tad bit. He has been stepping up during the first couple of days of training camp. However, the best guy in that safety unit has been Jalen Pitre. And I love the fact that Coach D'Amico Ryan said to himself, you know what? I have a guy. I'm going to dive even more into his versatility. And during the first 5 days of training camp, that is exactly what we have been seeing from Jalen Pitre and why there has been a resurgence in his career so far.
Yeah, I love it. You know, it's been fun to play some nickel here in training camp and OTAs. And, you know, I'm all in it on the process. Whatever Coach D'Amico and his staff wants me to do, you know, I'm ready to try to go out there and execute and make plays for this team. It's all about, like I said, execution. You know, every nickel is similar. I played nickel in college, so I kind of understand the position. And through the years with the Texans, I've been studying, you know, how D'Amico wants to play, how he wants our nickel to play. So, you know, it's just understanding the position and the techniques that he wants us to work. And, you know, just honing in on that every day and just trying to stack them and get better.
My thoughts on that is looking at Jalen Pitre, a player who, you know, we can't sugarcoat it at all, had a down year last year. But my thoughts on that is, would you rather have Jalen Pitre miss tackles at the line of scrimmage or give up big plays? Right?
Man, that's a...
Let me finish though, because I know that's like, well, neither. And I understand that. Now, before you answer that question, understand that the best version of Jalen Pitre is when he is down around in the box, playing at that slot position, nickel cornerback, when the ball is more so in front of him compared to when it's in the air. The coverage issues are evident when the ball is in the air, but his quickness and his confidence around the line of scrimmage is what I think helps him excel as a football player. And Jalen Pitre is in that gray area of positionless football player. You got guys, and again, I hate to kind of switch sports, but you got guys like a Draymond, you know, power forward, small forward, but he's a basketball player. So as a coach and coaching staff, you got to find ways to make it work. Right, you got to find ways to make it work, and I think that's what's going on with Jalen Pitre right now. I also believe it provides Houston with the opportunity to get creative with pressure and coverage disguises as well, utilizing Petri and Burke and D'Amico Ryan's defense. This could involve some shell coverage looks, some nickel blitzes, and much more. So just naturally honing in on his natural instincts and his ability. I think there was too much overthinking going on with Jalen Pitre when he played back deep. And I think him being around the line of scrimmage allows him to just naturally play football, and the field is meant for him to play it for himself.
The one thing that I love most about Jalen Pitre through these first 5 days, not only is he living up to Coach D'Amico Ryans, what he wants to see from them with the versatility, but I've seen a difference in terms of his demeanor on the field, and I keep going back to this, and I'm loving it during the first 5 days, and that is the fact that we can definitely see him playing with more control, aggression, which means that he's playing smarter out there on the field, which means if he's playing smarter, controlling his aggression, and the fact that Coach D'Amico Ryans is utilizing his skills, we're definitely going to see a better version of Jalen Pitre in 2024, which means the season ticket holders will get their money's worth. We're going to talk about the Houston Texans and their fans and the season tickets on the other side of the break.
The Houston Texans have CJ, Stefon, Joe Mixon, D'Amico, Matt Berg, Bobby Slorg, Laramie Tunsil, Titus Howard. They have everything they need to win a championship. Now, you can also get in on that with some passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also the formula to keep your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance between superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into power, speed, style, or all three, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guarantee Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP of the road, like CJ Stroud can possibly be in the NFL, and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guarantee Fit only available to U.S. customers.
Thank you for the question. When you hear about the season tickets already being sold out, you feel that. I feel that excitement from our fans around town. No matter where I go, I feel it when we come out to practice. So it just shows, man, it's humbling to see just the amount of just support that our fans here in Houston have for us already to have sold out season tickets. It shows that they want to be a part of it. They want to show up. They want to be loud. They want to support us. So I'm very thankful for the fans, right, who sacrificed to purchase season tickets and to be there to make our place at a home field advantage for sure.
Welcome back in, Locked On Texans listeners and viewers. I do want to add this to the Jalen Pitre point. I think Houston is really going to maximize and exhaust everything that they have to get the best out of them. Do I think that the lack of confidence in Jalen Pitre playing deep safety is a concern? I do. And he was benched a couple of times last season. But I think they're taking a different approach to kind of take a step back and say, well, first of all, we didn't draft him. Second of all, let's look and see how can we minimize some of the issues and concerns by putting him in the position that we believe he can succeed in, which is why I opened up by saying, would you rather miss tackles at the line of scrimmage? Because Jalen Pitre, dating back to his Baylor days, he talked about how playing nickel since Baylor, he was phenomenal at that position, one of the best running, tackling cornerbacks in the college that year, He still missed tackles. Missed tackles his rookie year, and he had 5 interceptions. He had somewhat of an all Pro Bowl a year type of year. And last year, still missed tackles. But you got to live and die with what's good and what's worse. And I think with Petrie, you kind of live with some of those missed tackles around the line of scrimmage because you got more bodies to kind of make up for those missed tackles. Playing deep, it's only you and maybe 2 other players back there, if that. You don't want them single high, at least as of right now. So I think Houston done a very good job, as they should have. Shout out to Cody Johnson. We had him on the show a while back talking about him playing nickel. But Cody's season tickets were sold out. That's a good sign for the Texans.
Man, I'm not going to lie. I'm happy for the fans, and I'm happy for the McNairs. Before day 5 of training camp, we had an opportunity to hold a quick media availability with the McNairs. And I was sitting there just listening to Cal, sitting there listening to Hannah. And I was just like, man, I'm just happy for them because you remember, after 2019, after they blew that playoff lead, which, by the way, this is the first time the Houston Texans did sell out their season tickets since 2019. But everybody know how dark it was, man. And I remember there was moments where we used to have our media availabilities, talking to the McNairs, and I used to feel bad for them because, a lot of everything that transpired with this organization where they went to the laughing stock of the league. I felt bad because it was like it was only so much that they can do, and I understand a lot of the decisions they made was part of the reason why the Houston Texans got so bad at one point, but I'm also happy to see their growth. And now the decisions that they made, the chances that they took, literally has the Houston Texans as one of the most premier teams in the league. They deserve it to have season tickets sold out. Individual game tickets are still on sale, which I'm pretty sure at this point that's probably far in between there. But man, I'm just so happy for the McNairs, man. I just wanted to say that. And also I'm happy for the fans seeing them at training camp yesterday, cheering almost every single player. The fact that they was out there at 4 a.m., John, this is one of the moments where I sit back. Well,
they ain't had no recruiting to do on NCAA. I would have been recruited them hours.
But but once again, man, shout out to the fans, man. The fact that they stuck by this team, majority of them stuck by this team during those dark days, and to see how turned up they were, literally in the rain. As a matter of fact, man, it was just a beautiful moment yesterday, man. I don't want to say forget everything that transpired with the X's and O's with this organization, but just taking a step back, looking at ownership, looking at Andre Johnson for the first time after he was being named as a Hall of Famer. Of course, the fans cheering on their team, man. Day 5 of training camp was just a testament of how far this organization has come.
Yeah, full of energy. The fans were out there, but they need to keep their energy rolling. Day 2 of the pads later today. Hopefully, no injuries, a lot of coaching, a lot of teaching going on so this team can get to where they need to be on the field. But Cody, piggybacking off of you, that energy was crazy to see on social, and I know it was crazy to see and be a part of in person. This team means a lot to this city, and it's good to see that they're back. We'll be back tomorrow with more Texans talk inside Texans Training Camp. Follow us on Twitter at Locked On Texans. Subscribe, like, and comment to the Locked On Texans podcast. Give me a follow on Twitter at John_Hickman12.
And as always, I'm your host, Cody M. Davis. Please remember to follow me on Twitter at CodyDavis_24. Once again, that's Cody, COTYDAVIS_24. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.